Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Zee.
And today we're going to be taking a look at Parks 2nd Edition. This is the 2nd edition of Parks, and I think I best describe it kind of as a best hits of Parks 1st Edition and the expansions as well.
Yeah,
Kind of takes a little bit all of it, puts it together, streamlines some rules. Let's check out how to play. Zee's going to show us an overview here, and then we'll come back and let you know how it measures up to the 1st edition.
So here we're taking a look at the game setup and ready to begin for 3 players. Everybody has everything you see here in front of one of these places, including a passion that if you achieve what it says across the bottom, you will flip this card over and get a bonus, okay? So we've all got these various things, and then the board is set up with some equipment over here you can acquire, parks you can visit, canteens you can gain, some bonuses right here for the changing seasons, and then all of our hikers at Trailhead and the randomly placed set of spaces, these, that are going to give you a bonus when you go there. So the game's going to play over 3 seasons, and we have our start player right here. It'll be the yellow player with this token. On your turn, you are going to select one of your 2 hikers, which are both right here now, and go forward as far as you want to an unoccupied place, taking the bonuses there. So if I want to go here, for example, I can do that. I'm going to gain this bonus, a one-time bonus that you set up at the beginning of each season, and it alternates between sunshine and water, starting from the 2nd place, as you can see, sunshine, water, and so on. So I gain this. I'm going to put it in my backpack, which has room for 12 things. I'm also going to gain this bonus right here. So I take that, and I put it in my backpack as well. There are 2 of these trays in the game, and they have the various things you can gain throughout. So I gain that. That is my turn. It is now the next player's turn. So it'll be blue. They'll pick one of theirs. They can, again, go to any place they want to. They may not stop at an occupied place, including a place they themselves are occupying with their other hiker, unless you spend your campfire. You can do this once per season, and if you do that, then you can stop where someone else is and take the bonuses there, okay? So blue is going to go here, let's say. They will gain this water, and they are going to take this action that happens to be rolling the die and getting whatever you get on the die. Resources, generally a canteen, things of that nature. Now, the different things you can gain in this game. Mountains, trees, you've got sunshine and water. The other abilities let you trade any one resource for a wild resource, which is one of these animals, and it counts as anything, though some parks do require that specific type, and it'll be any one of these. Any one of the animals counts as the sort of super piece, okay, a wild piece. Then you've got over here, you can gain one of these. It's costing you sunshine, and you can also take the top one of the deck for 2, though the front might actually end up being cheaper than that. But you can choose to do that. And then this parks ability, which is pre-printed in the middle, by the way, lets you deal with these parks. You can do one of 2 things. You can reserve a park. I want to work on this one, but I don't have those resources yet, so I could reserve it. Take it, put it over here on this side of my board that says reserved, or I can complete one or more. And they can come from my reserve, or they can come from up here. And that would be paying these resources. I'll be gaining that many victory points at the end of the game, and it's going to go over on this side where it says visited parks. Some of the parks are even going to have instant bonuses. When I complete this one by paying these things, I immediately gain 2 water, and then I'll move it over to my visited parks side. So that's what the symbols mean and the things you may achieve. And this is going to continue as the players go. Now it'll be the red player's turn. They will move. Perhaps they will go here, let's say. They will gain that water, and they are going to complete or reserve one of these. Let's say they're going to reserve this one right here. So they would put that over on this side of their board, and we reveal a new one that sits there. Now, whenever you gain water in this game, you're allowed to put it in your backpack as usual, or you can activate some of your canteens. You'll notice that the canteen here has 2 spaces. You begin with 1 3 times. with a shape for a water droplet in the middle. So if I do this, I'm going to activate both of these tokens. If there's one missing, I just don't worry about it. But if I had another canteen in that space, let's say at some point in the game I'm able to gain this one, well, I can put that there. And when I gain water, I can choose to put it there, and I activate all of these bonuses, therefore getting me 1 mountain and 2 sunshine. That is going to stay there until the end of the game. So this one, I cannot load this level of the canteen again. At the end of this hike, and in preparation of the next season, then I will clear this off, and I'll be able to do it one more time during that follow-up season, and then a third time, okay? So that's how the canteens work and the ways you can trigger them. There will be a few different ways in which you can get canteens. This last token I haven't talked about is one of the ways in which you can get a canteen token, which, by the way, we also replenish from this little bag right here. You would just draw a new one, put it out, and sometimes, yes, you can have duplicates there. Now, the other option here is taking a photograph. If you stop there, then you're allowed to take a photograph by discarding any one resource and then taking a photograph, which is going to be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. The photographs look like those that just flew by. They look like that. And if you have enough, you can even cash them in for this. This just counts as 5 photographs, where normally they are a single point, okay? So that's what that symbol means there. Now, if you ever stop over here where the shutter bug is, which is randomly placed at the beginning of each season, by the way, then you're also going to get this badge right here. And this badge simply reminds you and allows you to, when you take a photograph, immediately take another photograph. So you can cash in 2 resources for 2 of these photos, each one worth 1 victory point. All right? So we will continue doing this with the players going. When you finally get all the way to the end of the trail, you will go into one of these 3 locations. Again, taking a parks action of reserving or completing parks, visiting parks, taking a photo, or buying one of the pieces of equipment. If you're the first one at one of these levels, you will get a bonus. This bonus here is being the start player, by the way. And then when everyone is done, we will reset for the next one with a little scoring in the middle. We're going to check out this scoring right here, which is randomly placed out of a few options. Most water, whoever has the most water in their canteens, in their backpacks, is going to get a canteen token. And then during the middle season here, the summer, whoever has the most unique abilities or triggered abilities, I should say, on their visited parks is going to roll the die twice and get whatever they get from that. I get a wild and I get another wild. Fantastic. And then lastly, whoever has the most mountains on visited parks is going to get 3 victory points at the end of the game. There's also this bonus here for most pictures for a game for 3 to 5 players. The other side is for a game for 2 players. And the last thing then would be taking a look at the player boards right here. You have, like I said, a passion. So once this player visits 3 mountains worth of symbols on parks, so they have this one and another one that has a mountain, right? That would be 1, 2, and 3 for that other one. Well, then they complete this and they will flip this over and they have a choice to make. They can take some endgame scoring, which is right here. You're going to get 1 victory point for every 2 mountains seen on parks you have. Or, and you would, tuck that under like so. Or they can take an in-game bonus, this bonus here, which says, this counts as gear. And it says, when gaining mountains, you can spend a mountain and gain a wild piece. Okay, maybe I want that instead. And if so, I would do that. And now I have that piece of equipment available to me for the rest of the game. And so that should basically give you an idea of what it is that is going on. Don't forget that these are reset, shuffled up, and put back out for the next season, and then lastly for the final 3rd fall season. So there you go. That is enough of the moving parts for you to have an idea of how the game operates. Let's go ahead and go back up top.
Now, first off, for people who have the original parks, you will note here the larger box size. Right. It is encompassing a whole lot. It's going to come with a lot of the same great production from the first one, though. It's going to have the trays for all your wooden bits, and it just feels deluxe, even if you don't get what we're showing here, which is the Summit Edition. Even if you don't get the Summit Edition, it still feels pretty deluxe.
Right. There's a couple of things that will be different. If you don't have this edition, the play surface will not be a mat. It will be just a board. Some of the little animals I showed you that are represented by that little buffalo. I think I showed you a turtle. That's not screen printed. It'll just be the outline of a turtle. But there's a bunch of different animals in there. A couple of small things. The little baggie where you replenish the canteens from, that little baggie isn't in there. You just stack the tokens up near the board. But they're very minor things to the point that I think you're going to feel like the game is a deluxe treatment, even if you get the non-Summit edition.
Right, I agree. You're still going to have those double-layer player boards, which are so nice, and I really like that addition of it having the 12 spots for your resources, so you can really visualize quickly how close you are to reaching that limit, that hard limit. So as far as production goes, I was really impressed with this, and that carries over to the rule book as well, because anytime we see this older game kind of being re-envisioned a little bit, streamlined, bringing in some of the expansion components, I get concerned about how is it going to present this as one package.
Right.
What's it going to be like for people that know the old game as well as a new entry point. That's a really tough thing to nail, and I think that this did a very good job with it. I did come from playing Parks, but I hadn't played through all the expansions, but I was able to jump into this with no questions after one read through the rule book.
Yeah, they do a really good job of really, like you said, making this sort of a greatest hits, picking and choosing things to put in it. There are some ideas in here that came from the expansions that are just part of the base game. And the main one I can think of is some of the parks, when you visit them, they have the little lightning symbol and they trigger some ability. Get to water, get whatever. That came to parks in expansions eventually. The other one, which is an optional part of this game, I did not show you this, is you can do the camping idea, where you have these tents you put out, and when you visit that location along your trail, you can take a secondary ability, up top on top of the board. I didn't show you that because, again, it's optional. You don't have to do that. But there is already a module in this box that you can choose to add in after you've played this edition a few times. It's built in. It's right in there. You're getting it. And I really like that. Again, something that came from one of the expansions. They're treating it as optional, but it's built in and you can pursue it right away if you want to play something a little more heady. So I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I definitely thought that they did a good job picking and choosing. It didn't feel like they tried to cram everything in.
Right.
It still felt streamlined, like you were getting the full experience, not like it had a bunch of modules added in.
Yeah.
Because that's another concern. It's like if you're just cherry picking and kind of, do you nail that streamlined here?
This isn't a big box.
Right.
This is not a big box. This is a new printing of Parks, to the point that it just says Parks on the box. This is not, they're not even treating it as Parks Second Edition necessarily. If you look at this box, this is the new Parks. This is what it is right now, from them learning over various iterations of the core box and the couple of expansions that have come out, what a master set sort of looks like.
Right. And it was nice to see that they were able to nail that streamlining down to where the season change is now a little bit different. There's only 3, not the 4, and the trail isn't growing each time. It's a static size. So some of that stuff that just takes away, and I think positively takes away, it streamlines that rules overhead or that hobby gaming feel to it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't lose the magic of the strategy and the tent's placement. How far are you going to go on that track or that trail? When do you leave the trail and take that bonus? It still maintains that tension and good decision space as well.
I agree. I think it's great to, you put one game against the other and you compare every change they made, every choice they made, and oftentimes that choice was made for simplicity's sake and for streamlining, but it does not make for a lesser game. They didn't just remove rules, they tweaked them. They simplified some things. They took some ideas and made them the simplest version of that rule that still provides you with interest. And that's a tricky balance to get right, and it's a a difficult thing to continuously do over and over correctly. And I think this game, this edition of this game, does that over and over. They did it right. They did it so that it is accessible to more people and fun. It's not just that, oh, we made a simple Parks.
Yeah.
This is a streamlined, tightened up Parks.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it even like a mainstream game anymore, you know? I mean, or I'm not anymore. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be like, it's so simple now that it's just, you know, mass market.
Right.
I wouldn't say that. It still feels niche and deluxe and very hobby with that decision space and the care that's given into it, but it's still approachable in that mass market field. So they really nailed that in between, kind of appealing both, I think. Any other thoughts you wanted to bring up here? Any other comments?
I really like that this game now has, you begin with that little bonus, like you have a passion at the beginning of the game. And when you complete that thing, which gives you focus immediately from the beginning of the game, and I like that, because if you feel a little overwhelmed, you're like, well, I don't know which park I should be going for. Yeah. Well, if you have the bonus that cares about you know, getting mountains, then pick the parks that have mountains. Great. I love that when you complete that thing, you flip it over, and it's either an end game bonus, you get more points, or some in-game boost. You're giving up the points, but maybe you can make up the difference of that by the little, you know, oomph you're getting throughout the playing of the game. Right. That's really neat. I enjoy that a lot, and it couples with everything else going on really well.
It leads to interesting decisions, right? Like if you get an end game, then you know you're going to get points. It's always worth doing, you know, and it just leads to that interesting kind of tension and push-pull. Yeah. So, all right, so my final thoughts here. I really like this game. I'm going to come down at a 9 for it. I feel like my negatives I'm just kind of nitpicking at. I do really like Parks, but I think this new edition, the streamlined rules, the approachability without taking away from that hobby, intricate, well-designed feel, it really elevates. It really elevates it for me a lot. I really like the goals as well, kind of nitpicking here. The goals I like, that what you were just speaking of, but I wish that had been the module and not the camping. I think the camping should have been in the game. You know, because the camping one feels like so much of a change just for that approachability. I think if it was, it should just be part of the game and end, whereas the goals is more that kind of big picture thinking and your personal strategy. That's I think a little smaller module. So that's again nitpicking, but that's something that I can take over as someone who owns the game. That's how I would teach it.
Sure.
You know, but I think the production is great. I think they made some fantastic design decisions on what to incorporate from the expansions, what to leave out, and just fantastically done. So for me, it's a 9.
I think it's brilliant. I think that Keymaster Games, the company that puts this game out, they have always been good at doing follow-up editions and cleaning and sanding down and getting the edges of something that might feel a little rough, sanded down and smoothed out. They do it here again, and they are getting scary good at being able to zero in over, you know, a couple of versions of a game into something that gets to the core of why that game is fun. They sand away setup time. They sand away any sort of weird, quirky rules between one round and the next round. They are just getting really good at that. This is a slam dunk in my opinion. I'm giving it a 9.5. It is so good. I have a hard time, you know, again, not recommending this to just about everyone. And maybe if you hate the outdoors, I could see you not liking this. But the gameplay is going to be engaging, richly tactical, some strategy there. There's a lot to enjoy here, and I think it's going to be just incredibly rewarding. So yeah, for me, a 9.5, this is a slam dunk.
Well, there you go. That's going to be for Parks, the new edition here. Thanks for joining us on the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Zee.
And we'll see you on the trail.
Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description of this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.